What if I told you that within just a few years, one European nation is transforming its military faster than almost anyone else on Earth? Not France, not Germany, not even the United Kingdom. That country is Poland. In response to growing tensions on NATO's eastern border and the lessons learned from the war in Ukraine, Poland has launched one of the largest military modernization programs in modern European history. Billions of dollars are being invested into tanks, fighter jets, missile defenses, drones, artillery, submarines, and soldiers. If current plans stay on track, Poland won't just have one of Europe's strongest armies. It could become NATO's primary military powerhouse on the continent's eastern flank. So how did Poland go from relying on aging Soviet-era equipment to becoming one of Europe's biggest military spenders? Let's take a look. Building an air defense shield. Modern wars are increasingly fought in the skies. Cruise missiles, ballistic missiles, drones, and precision-guided weapons have changed the battlefield forever. Poland has responded by investing heavily in one of the most advanced air defense networks in Europe. One of the biggest milestones is the arrival of the F-35A Lightning II stealth fighter. Poland has already taken delivery of its first aircraft as part of a 32-jet order, with an additional $4 billion in U.S. financing expected to support future squadrons. But fighter jets alone cannot defend an entire country. That's why Poland also signed a $1.2 billion agreement with Raytheon to manufacture 48 Patriot M903 missile launchers domestically. This not only strengthens Poland's missile defense capabilities, but also expands its own defense industry. The country is also preparing for the growing threat posed by drones. In one of Europe's largest anti-drone procurements, Poland finalized a $4.2 billion contract with PGZ and Norway's Kongsberg to deliver 18 anti-drone batteries mounted across roughly 700 military vehicles. Taken together, these investments create multiple layers of defense, from intercepting enemy aircraft to stopping missiles and drone swarms before they reach their targets. If air defense is one pillar of Poland's strategy, armored warfare is the other. Few countries have expanded their armored forces as aggressively. One of the largest purchases comes from South Korea. Poland finalized a $6.7 billion deal for another 180 K2 Black Panther tanks, with 61 of those vehicles scheduled to be produced inside Poland itself. At the same time, the country has placed enormous orders in the United States. These include approximately 100 AH-64E Apache attack helicopters, hundreds of HIMARS rocket artillery launchers, and M1A2 Abrams main battle tanks. Once these deliveries are complete, Poland's tank fleet is expected to exceed 1,000 vehicles. To put that into perspective, that would surpass the combined active tank inventories of France, Germany, and the United Kingdom. The artillery buildup is equally impressive. Poland is acquiring large numbers of domestically produced Crab self-propelled howitzers alongside South Korean K9 Thunder systems, while also expanding its long-range precision strike capability through HIMARS rocket artillery. Rather than replacing old equipment piece by piece, Poland is rebuilding nearly its entire heavy combat force at once. Military modernization isn't just about buying equipment. It's also about building the ability to produce it yourself. Poland has increasingly focused on strengthening its domestic defense industry. In a single day, the government signed 29 contracts with Polish manufacturers covering 146 Borsuk infantry fighting vehicles, HIMARS rocket artillery vehicles, medical evacuation platforms, and other military equipment. Small arms production has also expanded significantly. The government ordered 46,000 upgraded MSBS GRO-TA-3 assault rifles from Fabryka Broni Radom in a deal worth around $160 million. Meanwhile, Poland plans to draw on as much as 44 billion euros through the European Union's SAFE program. Those funds are expected to support drone defenses, border security improvements, and expanded local defense manufacturing. The long-term objective is clear: reduce dependence on foreign suppliers while developing a stronger domestic industrial base capable of sustaining future military operations. Poland's modernization effort isn't limited to land and air. The Navy is also undergoing significant changes. To strengthen security in the Baltic Sea, Poland finalized a €2.36 billion agreement with Sweden for 3 Saab A-26 submarines. While naval investments receive less public attention than tanks or fighter jets, submarines play a critical role in protecting sea lanes, monitoring regional waters, and deterring hostile naval activity. As tensions continue to rise around the Baltic region, underwater capabilities are becoming increasingly important. Advanced equipment means little without trained personnel to operate it. That is why Poland is also dramatically increasing the size of its armed forces. The government aims to expand active military personnel to around 300,000 troops. This force would include professional soldiers, territorial defense forces, and volunteers. If achieved, Poland's military would be roughly 4 times larger than today's British Army. Even more ambitious is the Armed Forces Development Program. By 2039, Poland hopes to build a total force of approximately 500,000 personnel, including around 200,000 reservists. This combination of manpower and modern equipment would make Poland one of Europe's largest conventional military powers. However, expanding this quickly comes with significant risks. Unlike countries that primarily buy equipment from one supplier, Poland is sourcing hardware from domestic manufacturers, South Korea, and the United States simultaneously. That means different maintenance systems, different spare parts, different training requirements, and different logistics chains. Military analysts and defense communities have repeatedly pointed out that maintaining such a diverse inventory could become one of Poland's biggest long-term challenges. Technology transfer presents another uncertainty. Many procurement agreements include plans for domestic production, but questions remain over how much manufacturing knowledge will ultimately be transferred and whether Poland will be able to independently sustain all of these systems in the future. In other words, buying advanced weapons is only the first step. Maintaining, integrating, and operating them efficiently may prove even more difficult. Regardless of these challenges, Poland's military transformation is impossible to ignore. Within just a few years, the country has committed tens of billions of dollars toward modernizing nearly every branch of its armed forces. Stealth fighters, missile defenses, attack helicopters, hundreds of tanks, long-range artillery, submarines, and one of Europe's largest planned military expansions. The goal extends beyond simply replacing outdated Soviet-era equipment. Poland is positioning itself as NATO's frontline military power and the alliance's eastern shield against future threats. Whether every procurement is delivered on time and every ambitious target is achieved remains to be seen. But one thing is already clear. Poland is no longer preparing for yesterday's wars. It is building a military designed for tomorrow's battlefield, and Europe is paying very close attention. Thank you for watching The Global Lens. Subscribe for more.